Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. Thank you guys for joining me again today. So, I want to give you today's reading, today's message. And so, let's start basically with recognizing that we are truly in a war. And so, when we look at what's going on in the world, obviously there's wars, and then there's a bigger picture. So there's the war behind all these wars that we see, and in reality, it's the only war that's really going on. So that war is one really truly for the direction of the planet, and also basically for our own souls, our own path, our own way of life in so many ways, and choices as to how we are going to live on this planet. I'm reminded of the Bhagavad Gita, which, if you guys haven't read it, I would encourage you to do it. It's interesting. It's insight into a time frame and also into the mindset of a major tradition on the planet, the Vedic tradition. But it's addressing the bigger picture. The fact that we are in a battle. This is truly a battle. And this battle's been going on probably far longer than any of us realize. But it is basically heading to its completion. And so this whole system, this way of life that we've had, and when I'm talking about that, I mean the fact that we've been dominated by basically conflict, disunity, dualistic thinking, division. That's all basically going to be passing away. And I know it's almost impossible for some to believe that, especially when we see the world and we see the situation that's going on right now. There is so much sadness going on and so much healing that needs to happen. And we all need to forgive ourselves and each other if we're going to make it out of this and move into a place of balance and harmony. Again, we're going to have to agree to disagree on some things. And we're going to have to learn how to really understand what namaste means. Because namaste means that the divine in me, that which is good, that which is of the highest essence, in me recognizes that in you and in others. And instead of getting pulled into ego traps, which they're all around us, if you look at the news, you will see so many ego traps going on every single day, trying to pull you in, trying to goad you. And we look at the advertising, into buying a bigger car, needing a better house. So many different things that we are constantly barraged with, which is manipulating our egos. The divisiveness. The news, for instance, what's happened, especially in maybe the last 4 years, it's become so painfully obvious how there are certain agendas underway. The agendas are just clearly obvious. So much to the fact that, very few people trust the mainstream news. We look at it with complete understanding that there are agendas underway and biases being given. It's not unbiased. And so when you look at, what is said, and even slogans like fair and unbiased, when it's totally unfair and totally biased. And that's on every side. That's part of this system that has no true balance, and we have to find balance. Balance is key. Balance is critical. Respecting other people is key as well, and respecting their belief systems, and those that are asleep and that think they're awake, and there's a lot that are under that illusion. They think that they're awake, but they're truly asleep, deeply asleep, because there's so much in the system. They've bought completely one paradigm or the other paradigm. and they don't see that they're trapped in this illusion, or maybe they understand they are trapped in this illusion, but just like in the Matrix, you got a choice. And some choose to stay in the Matrix because it's too painful to break out of it. It's their whole worldview. What hits me reading comments, and I've been spending some time reading comments not only on this channel, but other channels that are similar and others of some other venues as well. It's so apparent that so many people are so deeply sad. They're really sad. And I think, that is a symptom of a sick society. This society is sick. It's so sad when people truly don't want to live healthier lives, for instance, don't want to help their family members live healthier, longer, better lives, when really they would rather just kind of wallow in, this whole negative mindset. When faced with the earth changes and everything going on geopolitically, we could take a defeatist attitude and we could just say, well, it's simply the will of God. I can't do anything about it. Or we could recognize the divinity that lies within us and our creative powers and actually do something about it instead of just complaining about it or feeling that there's nothing you could do. I'm powerless. I'm totally a victim. Many people want to stay in victimhood. They don't want to actually do anything. All that they're going to say is, I'm just going to wait for the end of this world because the next one's coming and it's going to be better. And it's understandable when people get down and when people feel like they just can't push forward anymore. But that's when we have to dig deeper. And that's when those of us that see the bigger picture and are awake can try to lift them up and try to bring them out of this. Because, we all have different strengths. We all have different abilities. And together we could utilize our different abilities and actually start to truly co-create a totally different paradigm here on this planet. First off, we have to set our priorities. We have to prioritize life and not death. Prioritize positivity, optimism, hope, instead of just the opposite. And, this particular channel, the original Evolutionary Energy Arts, honestly, it's like you could sell doom and gloom, and some do, and some are doing amazing. They're making a lot of profits, selling doom and gloom, and, just pointing out all the negative. Or you can point out what's going on, but try to let people know, hey, there's power in a unity, and there's power in our ability to change things. So we recognize what's going wrong, and we have to take responsibility and actually try to do something to correct it, at least in our own lives and the lives of our family, friends, neighbors, and perhaps our own local communities, to be as positive an influence as possible. And so, earlier on, I was probably covering things, and to me, it felt kind of painful covering things, that are very negative and just focusing on pointing the blame on who's really doing all the manipulation. And then as time went on, I tried to make a point to shift into more positivity, more what we could do to make positive change. So we know these things are going on, but let's not lose track that the big thing is those of us that are awake, we have to wake up others and we have to band together. I know for sure that my purpose in this life is to help others wake up and help others see that we can be unified. The division, has been done on purpose, and it's through brainwashing, and we've all been brainwashed. We've been brainwashed by our teachers, by our parents, by our churches, by our synagogues, by our temples, by the politicians, by the mainstream media, for sure. We've been brainwashed by our doctors. We've been brainwashed by you name it. The conditioning that goes on in this society is incredible. And many are just totally waking up now and saying, I'm not buying into it anymore. I'm not buying into it anymore. And so, I have desired to really cover more and more of the positive as time has gone on. Believe me, I love hidden history, because the key to our future lies in understanding the true past, but also understanding the power that we have within as individuals and then as a collective. Everything goes in cycles. This is yet another cycle. And while we could view it as a circle, it's really more of a spiral. So we come back to the same sort of point in time with the same energies present, but there will be differences. Even though we're going into the same sort of cycle, there will be differences as well. And out of the darkness, the light is born. And that is what is all around us right now. This time of darkness is changing. And we are coming into the light. Light is gnosis. Gnosis is knowledge, understanding, and the understanding that comes from within. So don't be afraid to go within and find your own personal gnosis, your own personal knowing. So don't forget, we are most definitely in a war. But this war is one that will be won not by bloodshed, but by illumination and understanding. So my friends, as always, like, share, subscribe. Thank you for your support on Patreon and Ko-Fi. Look forward to your comments. God bless and namaste.